Our film begins with a boy named Philip running through a garden among the trees with a broken leg, trying to escape from someone chasing him. It's not clear who he's afraid of. 2 days earlier, we see Philip at home relaxing on the couch. When there's a knock on the door, he gets up to open it and finds Melissa, his dead brother's, that is Ronnie's girlfriend. He lets her in and then calls for his mother, Charlene, to come down and see Melissa. Charlene has not wanted to see or talk to Melissa since Ronnie died. Melissa tells them she is pregnant. When asked about Ronnie's father, Charlene says he decided to leave them and live with his wife. Melissa then gives them a tape to explain why she came. When they play it, they see Melissa with her spiritual healer who says the child Melissa is carrying is Ronnie's. Melissa explains that she has loved no one but Ronnie and that she got pregnant on the day he died 5 years ago. Charlene doesn't believe her and walks away, leaving her. Philip also tells Melissa that Ronnie has been dead for 5 years and it's impossible for him to be the father, getting angry with her. Melissa gives him her address and phone number in case he wants to reach her and then leaves. At this point, they recall Ronnie's graduation party with Melissa by his side, where everyone was happy and taking pictures of them. We return to Melissa, who goes back home where her neighbor Gail invites her for iced tea at her place. Shortly after, Gail's husband Bill arrives and treats Melissa like a daughter, having employed her at his store. Melissa tells them she will leave for a while until she gives birth and asks them to take care of her if anything happens since her family abandoned her when they learned about her pregnancy. That night, Charlene was so numb that she accidentally hurt herself with a glass. The next day, Charlene sits down with Philip, who tells her that Melissa might be telling the truth and that it could have happened through some advanced scientific method, but Charlene dismisses his idea, insisting it's impossible. Charlene then goes to the library where she used to work before Ronnie died and starts researching Philip's theory, discovering that he might be right. Meanwhile, Philip visits Chaz, Ronnie's friend, to ask him about Melissa. Chaz reveals that Melissa's father kicked her out 5 years ago due to her involvement in magic activities in hopes of reconnecting with Ronnie's soul, as she was deeply attached to him. Charlene, after leaving the library, contacts her ex-husband Richard, who works as a doctor, to inquire about her and Philip's suspicions and shares what Melissa told him. Richard, however, tells her it's impossible. Richard then calls to verify what Charlene said about Melissa. Philip tells him he doesn't believe Melissa and thinks she's imagining her pregnancy by Ronnie. Charlene continues reading and researching the subject. One day, Philip visits Melissa's spiritual healer to get more information, but she refuses to share anything and instead offers him a therapy session, which he accepts. During their session, she deduces that Philip is Ronnie's brother without him saying anything and warns him that he and those close to him are in danger. The next day, Charlene goes to Melissa's house but meets Gail instead, introducing herself. Gail thanks Charlene for Richard, her ex-husband, who has been paying their rent every month. Shocked, Charlene realizes that Richard has been in contact with Melissa. She calls him to confront him, but his second wife answers, informing Charlene that Richard is on his way to visit them. Charlene rushes to the airport to question him, but he brushes her off, saying he's there to check on Philip. When pressed, he admits that every time he came to town, he checked on and helped Melissa. Philip then goes to see Melissa and tells her the true story behind his leg. He explains that he and Ronnie had planned to move to New York together, but he went alone and struggled to find a job, eventually landing a job as a mail carrier. One day, he saw a car coming towards him and decided to let it hit him instead of avoiding it, using the injury as an excuse to return home without admitting defeat. Melissa begins to open up, telling Philip about her frequent blackouts where she only remembers dreaming about Ronnie and not understanding why this happens. Meanwhile, Gail returns home, goes down to the basement, and finds her husband, Bill, looking for his cigarette box. She reveals that she found drugs in it. Bill admits he was the reason she couldn't get pregnant and the cause of Melissa's troubles. When he approaches to apologize, he accidentally knocks her down the stairs killing her. As Philip finishes talking with Melissa and is about to leave, Melissa goes into labor. Philip decides to take her to the hospital, but she insists they bring Bill and Gail. When Philip goes to get them, no one answers the door. He looks through the basement window and sees Bill sitting next to Gail's dead body. Suddenly, Philip's phone rings, alerting Bill. Bill comes out with a shotgun and chases Philip into the woods, bringing us back to the opening scene of the film. Philip tries to escape, but Bill spots him and shoots him. At this point, Melissa is calling out for Philip, but he doesn't respond, so she decides to take the car and leave. Later that night, Bill tries to bury his wife and Philip in the garden. Meanwhile, Philip's parents arrive at Melissa's house looking for him. Bill tells them he hasn't seen anyone and they leave, but Charlene feels that her son is in danger. They find his crutch thrown in the garden, so they return to Melissa's house, breaking in to search for Philip. They find Gail dead in the basement and rapidly leave the house, nervous. Bill is outside in the garden burying Philip when Philip suddenly gets up and knocks Bill to the ground. Bill recovers and tries to strangle Philip, but Philip grabs Bill's shotgun and fires a shot. Hearing the gunshot, Charlene and Richard rush towards the sound, finding Bill holding the shotgun. Bill, claiming he didn't mean to kill her, then shoots himself. We learn that Ronnie died because the car he was in on his graduation day crashed. The scene shifts to the hospital after Melissa gives birth to a child who is welcomed by the family of Ronnie. Strange but true, ending explained. So, however, it turns out that the baby was not Ronnie's after all. Throughout the film, we notice that Melissa was adopted by an elderly couple, Bill and Gail, after Ronnie's accident. It is further revealed that Bill was the investigating officer of the accident that killed Ronnie. By the end of the film, it becomes clear that Bill had impregnated Melissa by giving her pills that made her unconscious. Melissa, having no memory of these events, believes she was miraculously carrying Ronnie's child because a psychic had once told her that Ronnie was trying to be reborn through her. And that's it. If you like this recap, hit like, share, and subscribe to our channel to keep seeing content like this one. If you have any requests or thoughts, drop them below in the comment section and we will see you at the next one. Peace out!